Dude, what the hell was that? Oh, I'm working on a new intro song. You like it? I mean, yeah, I kind of do actually. It's catchy. You want to just go ahead and just take it from the top? Yeah, I can do that. Don't say the F word. We're a pro wrestling combat sports podcast. We don't use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. Don't let your friends use it either. Yeah, I think I think that's gonna catch on. I think that's gonna be probably better than Joe Hendry's song. Oh, wait, hey, look, I think Joe's here. You wanna get Joe? You wanna get Joe off the top of your head? Oh no, I didn't just come up with this. I've been workshopping this. I've had some different versions. You've had different versions of that song. How would that even be possible? Oh yeah, I got other stuff. You want to hear one of the other versions? I mean, yeah, I do. All right. Don't say the F word. Wow. I'm gonna be honest. I think I might like that one better. That's very upbeat. Had a great tempo. Yeah. I mean, imagine if we were in a more acoustic environment. That'd be more gooder, right? Yeah, it'd be great, actually. I don't know why Joe. It says Joe's unable to join. That's because he can't sing. He's not gonna join in because he's not songstress of his generation as I am.
Bravo, that was good.
Oh, you like it, Joe?
That was good. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, it's Sunday. Don't say the F word. We don't do that. Weekend wrestling. What else? What are you guys gonna talk about?
Sponsorship.
You gotta tell people like all the sponsors. All right. Promo code. Don't say the F word. You'll save 10%. Press down on coffee. You can get coffee beans and stuff. You can save money on the Pure Plank thing. Same promo code, 10%. You can go ahead and you can buy your loved ones a piece of workout equipment for the holidays. How's that sound? That should go over great. Yeah, I think that'd be a wonderful idea. Who doesn't want a strong core for the new year? That's probably a thing. We're also a fundraiser here on Instagram for Friends of Lorraine County Dog Kennel. Also, if you buy some of our merch, I'm gonna give all the money's gonna go to the dogs, all of it, all the profit, all this month we're gonna give it to the dogs. That's true, and I think it covers everything. Yeah. So I mean, anyway, what are you guys gonna talk about? I mean, it's Sunday, Mark. We usually just talk about the week in pro wrestling. Yeah, that's what I mean. What do you mean? That's what? Everything that happened in the week of pro wrestling is what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, but I mean, nothing happened.
He got a point there.
I mean, really? Like nothing. Like literally. Okay, so spoilers happened, and we know what happened on Raw for next week already. And with that knowledge, we had 2 Raws. We had a Dynamite. We had SmackDown. There was Rampage, I think, and Collision. So, anyone, tell me anything important that happened.
Nothing really happened good.
We learned Bronson Reed is part Samoan. And everyone in Bloodline 2.0 dressed like The Rock. Wait, what?
Mm.
Yeah, they all had black turtlenecks and gold chains. Wait, are you sure? Did
I
it?
don't think did Bronson have. I don't think Bronson had
And,
gold
and
chain
Bronson
on.
Reed did have on a black shirt though.
I don't know about the gold chain.
I think he had some kind of chain. All right. Are you saying what are you getting at here? I'm saying The Rock is the leader of Bloodline 2.0. Tama Tonga did the whole throat slashing thing too. Uh, you don't know that.
Yeah,
You're just
he don't know that. He don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. Mark, don't believe him. Don't believe him.
I think that The Rock might be the leader of Bloodline 2.0. Why? Why would you even put that out there? I mean, what? What is that not? Was that somehow not possible? Of all the things currently going on, the fact that I'm thinking that The Rock is the leader of Bloodline 2.0, that's the improbability, huh? I mean, but there's people who think CM Punk is going to join the OG Bloodline at War Games. Well, we would call those people stupid. Oh, here you go. You're not supposed to call people stupid. Okay, if you think that CM Punk is joining the OG Bloodline, there might be something that's misfiring for you. Like,
CM Punk ain't got nothing to do with the OG Bloodline. Yeah, just saying.
That's true. I mean, unless you're going to go with the Paul Heyman connection, who apparently doesn't pay his cell phone bill.
He been off the show. He ain't been making no money, so he be kind of broke.
That's what we're going to go with?
I'll go with that. Yeah, that's what we go with. I'll go with that.
It is. I mean, that's a reach. All right? I mean, you think about all the things in wrestling that happen outside of WWE that people are usually like not happy about. And like they say, these are like serious like things with the story that don't really work and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to buy Paul Heyman's phone is disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, that's just. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you forget to pay your phone bill.
Look, our IRS came after him for the ECW stuff, man. So they took his money. They garnished his wages.
So let me ask you this: what do you make of Sammy throwing his phone on the couch?
I did not notice that till yesterday when everybody started showing it around. Like,
do you think that's something, or do you think that's nothing that they're going to turn into something? I mean, that'd be great, right? If like he was just casually chucking his phone around, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I mean, everybody picked up on that. Let's turn that into a thing." I think that would be hilarious.
I think maybe his phone just went off. He forgot to put on vibrate, and he just slid it over. He got caught.
Chucked it over to the side there.
He just got caught on camera. He didn't know he was on camera. That's all it was.
Do you think that they are going to make that be something? Do you think they're going to mention it? Do you think someone's going to say, like, well, why did you throw your phone aside? Like, they're going to have to bring it up, right? I mean, it's going to have to be part of the show to some degree. It's gotten a lot of attention online.
The only thing they could do is just say he swapped phones with Roman, and that's why when he said call the wise man, it went.
So Roman was able to unlock Sami Zayn's phone, and Sami doesn't have the right number for Paul Heyman. He's got Paul's old number.
There we go. That's the best scenario I could think of.
I mean, that's not really. I mean, that seems like something Vince would have wrote.
That's the best thing I can think of.
I mean, that is something Vince would have wrote, right?
Mm-hmm. Or better yet, yeah, I'll say that would be it. Sami just swapped out the phones. Roman's phone probably wasn't locked, so it could be open. So he could just like call the wise man.
Yeah, I mean, I I I want to pretend like I think that would be like far-fetched, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that shit wouldn't surprise me at all because this whole the OG bloodline being reunited and all of that is full of so many plot holes that they could throw anything in there at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it ends up being Seth at War Games with the OG bloodline?
It's pretty sad to say, but I'm going to say yes, it's going to be Seth.
Think so? Do
I
you
think
think that there's any chance that it's Brock?
I this is how it's going to happen. Tomorrow night when Bronson and Seth got their match, point two is going to interfere, cost Seth the match. And then, booyah, that's when probably the Usos comes out. And
Usos.
yeah. And Sammy. I don't know about Roman. And then, boo, they take him out, and then they just say, Seth says he'll be on SmackDown Friday to talk to Roman. There we go.
I keep thinking it's going to be that they're going to go with Seth now. I initially thought it would be like Cody and KO be the fifth members, but now with Bronson joining up, it's clearly going to be Seth, and it's really really dumb. Like it's just really bad. Like everything with this whole getting the OG bloodline back together scenario, everything feels so unbelievably forced and timed wrong. Like we didn't have enough time to miss the OG bloodline.
But you know what'd be funny? What'd be crazy? Let's just say it is Seth. Then comes Survivor Series. Point two takes out one of the members of the Bloodline. And by end of the night, that's probably going to be the main event. They'll need to find a fifth person. And, since they is in Canada, and I don't know how far he is from Canada, where part of Canada he's at, but hey, quick phone call, somebody could be there. And, oh yeah, we'll just say that fifth person, it could be Brock.
So, I think that scenario, for some reason, people seem like really excited about it. Like the idea that it could be Brock. That's actually more annoying for me. Like this is just me. Like Brock doesn't mend fences. Brock Lesnar's never operate as part of a group. Brock Lesnar stands alone. There would be zero reasons other than they attacked Paul. But Brock wasn't aligned with Heyman then. Heyman picked Roman over Brock. So it doesn't make any sense. Just like how Seth doesn't make any sense. Just like how Jay doesn't make any sense. And Sammy doesn't make any sense. Brock makes no sense to be aligned with Roman Reigns. I'm told it's cinema, right? Cinema. It's cinema. Gotta let them cook.
It's just all about they took the hands on the wise men. And now You put your hands on the wise man, and then bam, there you go. You gotta face the consequences. And
let me ask a very broad stroke question. So I'm going to ask this question because, I really try to ignore a lot of the noise that happens of being a wrestling fan. Earlier this week, a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Dipshits. A lot of dipshits. Said, like, Dynamite was so terrible, and it was like such a bad show. And I thought Dynamite was all right. There was nothing about Dynamite that I thought was exponentially awful. Again, I'm not saying it was like an A+ show. It wasn't the best 2 hours of professional wrestling I've ever seen in my entire life, but all the matches were good. Things are progressing in a forward manner with a lot of stuff. Like, I do think the show was like crammed super fast, but we'll circle back to that. My question for you is this: what would you do to make something matter in pro wrestling today? Like, if I give you the pencil for this coming week, so we have War Games down the road, which honestly at this moment, for me as a fan and for a lot of people, what we're getting at War Games doesn't actually feel important. And then we look at Full Gear, and a lot of people don't feel like I feel like it's a stacked card. Seems super exciting. It's going to have some great matches. But there's a lot of people who feel like, AEW's maybe not feeling, maybe there's not. The thing with people always say there's not good stories, but we'll get to that. But, like, if I gave you the pencil today, I say, hey, Joe, I need you to book something major to happen on Raw, something major to happen on Dynamite, and something major to happen on SmackDown this week. What 3 things would you book? I would like to ask that you stay within the realm of things that are currently taking place, but you don't have to. Okay. You could totally just throw some nonsense out there, but if you could just book 3 segments, I'm giving you a segment on each show. I need you to make people care.
Okay.
What do you do?
First. Okay. Here's my thing. All right, here we go. We'll do number 1. First thing I'll do, I will have, let's just say, the final testament. The final testament goes around backstage, tearing up everything to get to the Wyatt 6. They find the Wyatt 6. Well, take it back. The Wyatt 6 mysteriously just shows up in the ring. They tell the final testament to come out. The final testament hit the little music, but then they do that whole little trick. They get them from the back. They attack them from the back. Boom. And then you got Charlotte, who grabs, whatever they call Nikki. They call Nikki in the group now. And then you got Cross, who had a steel chair ready to swing it at Nikki. As they hold her down, they challenge them to War Games.
So you're going to do 2 War Games matches? I got to tell you, Joe, for me, that's surprising. I didn't think you were going to go with a Wyatt 6 story for Raw. Very impressed. Okay. So then what segment would you book on Dynamite then? Because Dynamite's the show people love to shit on. Where are you booking on Wednesday?
I would say Adam Cole comes out to the ring. There's a little speech talk. And as he's doing a little speech talk, he talks about how he had good ups and downs with the matches he had past couple years. Talking about how his career is not going that well. As he's playing, he thought he'd come back from his injury and be super good. And then, like I said earlier this week, he does the whole Shawn Michaels, I lost my smile, and just takes some good time off and won't come back for like.
You're taking him off TV again?
I'm taking him off TV again, yeah.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
I know.
You guys share a surname.
I know, but we share a name, but I'm just throwing it out there. That's what I would do. And then I would say he comes back around with that pay-per-view. That one pay-per-view where NJS always went the ring. He carries that ring.
Oh, for the Dynamite Diamond Ring?
Yeah. And that's when he comes back and he costs MJF the match. And he gets the ring.
Do you think it was a good idea to go back to the Adam Cole MJF story at all?
Only when MJF didn't have hardly nobody to face. He had a feud with Garcia when he came back. So it didn't make sense. He'll probably wait it out.
Okay. What would you book on SmackDown?
Triple threat tag team match for the tag team titles. And in
You put in?
Who I put in?
Mm-hmm.
We got the Motor City, Street Profits, DIY. And in that match, you see Ciampa getting upset because his partner, since they always got that good feud going on them two, that's where the whole feud starts. Right there, they break up because he sees them getting destroyed by the Street Profits. You see the Motor City Machine Gun. What was it? Alex Shelley. Alex, you know, stopped Montez Ford from doing the pin when they had him. And then Ciampa, once again, furious because he's not tagged in the match. And, you get to that one little point. They get the tag. Cool. Ciampa gets in the ring. He tells Gargano, like, stay right here. And he had turnbuckle. And then he goes after, let's say, Montez Ford, but then turns around and boom, kicks John Gargano in the face right by the turnbuckle. Ooh. And then he goes to his famous finisher move he got. I forget the name of it. And then
I can't remember his move either.
It's a good move, though. I can't think of it.
I can't think of the name of it.
Then he goes out. Since Ciampa was the legal person, He walks out, leave him. And then that just leaves the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns. And as that goes along, you got Chris taking on Dawson. They in there fighting, getting it on. Dia Montez, they ready to put the little finisher move on. He tags in, boom. But they forgot about Shelly. Shelly stops it. And when you got that happening, Shelly tosses Montez forward into the turnbuckle. And there you got Dawson, what they still think is the legal person, the right person to go for the pin. Boom. The ref does the 1, 2, 3. But the ref forgot that they was Montez Ford was the legal person. So he had to restart the match again.
Oh, you got Dusty finish it?
Yeah. So they got to restart it because they had to show that he made a mistake. And booyah, there we go. They start the match over, and then Machine Guns did their little kick at the corner to Montez. Then they do the same thing to Dawson. Boom. And this time they pin Montez. And at the end of the match, 1, 2, 3, Machine Guns win.
So you're gonna split up DIY and have the Street Profits lose again.
It's better. It's better. Not only are they gonna lose again, but this is where they turn their little heelish ways. Machine Guns reached out for the handshake, tell me did a good job, da-da-da. And then, boom, kick. Kick them.
So,
Dawson runs outside, get the little steel chair. Him in the back. And then
so you're turn heel again?
I'm going to turn heel. They need to be heel.
So, I have a question for you. With your booking of SmackDown. So this past Friday on SmackDown, we had more signs pointing toward issues between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. As you know, and longtime listeners of our show know, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano is one of my favorite stories from NXT. The beginning, it was just they did a great story. And one thing I truly enjoyed was Ciampa's journey to the title and him winning it, and the bad guy winning. Evil won constantly during the Tommaso Ciampa Johnny Gargano story. Putting them back together on main roster, and now to break them up. Does anybody care? Like, did they make either of them important enough individually or as a tag team to make their split matter? Because neither of them did anything as a singles competitor on main roster. Literally nothing. And then as a tag team, nothing felt important. Or is it just because it's not hitting the same story beats for me that they did in NXT? I don't feel invested in those characters on main roster the way I felt invested in them at NXT. And I was such a Tommaso Ciampa fan.
I say it like this: the NXT version of that feud was way better than the main roster feud. Well, that's going to be. But I would say this: They are not your KO and Sammy when it comes to breaking up, reuniting, breaking up, reuniting. They don't have that type of. They got that feud, but don't get that little spark like KO feud with Sammy would be.
Yeah.
Even though they.
But I mean, we've seen it a few times. They broke up and got back together in NXT, and then they come to main roster not together, and then Johnny kind of Ciampa gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny kind of leaves and comes back, and they put them back together. But and then I have another question. Why is no one calling out the fact that we're doing with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano exactly what we're doing with Kofi and Woods? Why are we breaking up the New Day on Raw and breaking up DIY on SmackDown? Why are we telling the same story on both shows?
Apparently, maybe Netflix probably wants one of them.
I mean, you bring in Motor City Machine Guns to build up tag division of SmackDown, and then you're going to take away a tag team from both shows, probably. Like, where is this sensible?
I couldn't tell you. I could say this though. They gonna
also, just one more question.
Okay.
Weren't Gargano and Ciampa on Raw? When did they end up on SmackDown?
Oh, the thingamajiggy.
The draft?
Yeah.
Wasn't the draft last year? Weren't they on Raw just a few months back? Or was that when they were tag champs and they were doing both shows? Was that what it was? Because you had the interaction with them and R-Truth, and R-Truth thinking they were DX. That was on Raw, right?
That was on Raw, yeah.
How the hell was that happening?
Oh, because they had that little battle royal for the belts, the tag team belts.
And they got the tag belts since they ended on both shows, right? Or no? You see how unimportant this is? Can't remember why they were interacting with R-Truth.
Yeah, it was. Because they had a little tournament where they had on both shows who would fight for the belt. When R-Truth won them, they had a little battle royal, like 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown, and that's when DIY won it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's when they were doing the whole tag team, when they brought in the whole new tag team belts on both. That's when it happened. And,
okay.
And that's how you got the 8-count under winning, because that's where they had that little ladder match for the belts. They split them up. And DIY 8-count under won. They grabbed the belts and they left with the SmackDown. And that's when R-Truth and Miz DIY was fighting for the other belts. Cause that's when they had the unified belts, broke them up, split them, blue, red, and that's when Triple H gave them new belts.
Gave us some decent looking tag titles, yeah. We talked about the whole, breaking up New Day, breaking up DIY. You look to book something exciting for every show over the next week. Well, let me ask you, what do you think it is that leads so many people to seemingly have a disdain for AEW? Like, why is it popular inside of wrestling fandom to dislike the AEW product and pick it apart whenever you have just glaring plot holes and just rehashing the same thing happened on WWE programming. But everything's acting like WWE is doing such a great job right now, and that AEW is doing something terrible. Whenever we just talked about major plot holes in WWE's primary storylines, we're running the same story on two shows, and no one talks about these things. But you have a ref out of place in AEW, and Busted Open gives that 15 minutes of saying how AEW is going out of business, and this is why they can't sell tickets, and this is why it ain't cool.
I'll say this. I think a lot of people are sitting on AEW because you gotta look at like from another point of view. If you've been watching WWE for longer than 30 plus years, you will see that AEW is somehow making the same matches, same match types and everything, but a little twist to it. Not calling it the same thing, but different names. If you look at some of how the matches are, some of them have like a similar ending to a lot of controversial stuff, but they tweak it, make it a little better so it don't like a copyright or copy scenario.
I mean, what did you think of Dynamite this week? What was your thoughts? Dave LaGreca gave the show a D. I think the show was like a B. I would even go as far as maybe, I would say maybe B minus, just because for me there was so much happening so quickly that it was almost hard to keep track of what I was seeing. But everything I was seeing, I was enjoying it while I was seeing it.
I'll give it a solid C plus. It was good. It was interesting, but some of the stuff was just wasn't hitting like it did before, but it was still decent.
I felt like the show just felt very chaotic. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily in a bad way. Like, Raw used to feel chaotic under Vince because like nothing made sense. Like, it was just like we're doing The Miz versus this guy for the third week in a row, and we're acting like nothing from the stories from the week before mattered, and like that shit was annoying in 2019. I felt like they were just trying to fit a lot of stuff into Dynamite for some reason this week. Mm-hmm. So like, you had an interference lead into a match, and like, it just felt like a lot was going on. And I don't know why.
They did way too fast. But I can say the only thing that was that was really, really shocking, was the House of Black beating FTR. That was shocking. I was not expecting. Okay.
I was surprised Adam Cole lost. So this is one of the things that I was going to talk about on Busted Open. But yeah, they talked a lot about the things I think would help AEW. But one thing about AEW is that it's not predictable. Like, we both thought, no brainer, Roderick Strong's going to win, Adam Cole is going to win, MJF's going to defend in a triple threat match. Mm-hmm. And then Adam Cole loses.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I would have bet money against that. And I think there's a comfort level in WWE being so predictable. Like we always say, it's not that hard to book WWE. Like, we could write the show. Right? Everyone predicted what War Games was going to be. As soon as Roman lost at Mania, we knew what we were getting at Survivor Series. Only thing up in the air is the fifth man. Mm-hmm. And even then, like, it's not even like that's a catastrophic, like, up in the air thing. Okay? It doesn't necessarily matter. But with AEW, like, especially like this past week, I didn't know what was coming next. Like, it was just felt like, whoa, like this is like kind of like ADHD TV here. Like, this is all over the place, but not necessarily in a way that I couldn't follow. But I do think there's an opportunity to recap and tell me what it was I just saw or what it was I missed on Saturday. Do you remember VH1's pop-up videos?
Oh, yeah, that was the best one, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if AEW did pop-ups like that throughout the show. Like, so they know that not many of us watch Rampage.
That is true.
A little bit more of us watch Collision. But one thing they almost never do on Dynamite is tell us what happened on Rampage and Collision. It's almost never recapped in a way. Like WWE, you can tune into Raw or SmackDown, and you could have not watched in the last 2 years. If they will bring you up to speed enough that you can watch the damn show.
Mm-hmm.
And you can miss a week and get caught up tuning in. AEW doesn't really do that. Like, if you miss a week, you may not have a clue in the world why Will Hobbs is no longer with Don Callis. You go, wasn't he with the guy who looked like a worm? Why is he not with Earthworm Jim no more?
Mm-hmm.
Commentary will mention it occasionally. They mentioned it on Collision last night about he was injured, he was out, and Don Callis didn't renew his contract. They did a good job. They mentioned it. But generally speaking, they don't mention like the story beats unless it's a major thing. Everything should be a major thing, though. They could easily do pop-ups. What did Lance Archer do on Rampage? You could pop it up during the match. It could be a little pop-up. Bloop. Here's what happened. You could do you could even run a little video. They revolutionized wrestling with picture-in-picture. Going to a commercial break and having the match run was an AEW thing. WWE took it and applied it to NXT, and then they applied it to Raw and SmackDown. AEW did it first. They did. They were the first ones. Remember, Nick Gage with the pizza cutter on Jericho's forehead during the Domino's commercial. WWE did not start off the picture-in-picture thing during commercial. Totally an AEW thing. They could bring something to giving us our recaps. They don't have to do it like WWE. I don't need a full video package to start the show. You don't have to have that. You can have the conversation. You can just have the pop-up, man. If on Wednesday night, whenever Danny Garcia comes to the ring, if there's a little pop-up video that runs up while he's walking out of showing him chaining Jack Perry to the front of that bus and driving off, you can easily give me the recap right there. Sammy Guevara used to come out with the signs, and he would have all kinds of stuff on the signs. When guys are coming to the ring, if you tell them what you're queuing up as the pop-up for them from the previous show, whether it be they were on Rampage or they were on Collision, whatever they're referencing back to, they could talk shit to the camera while they're coming down about the pop-up. Cut the promo on the way to the ring. It doesn't have to be a backstage segment. We don't have to do those things. We could do something different and bring the fans up to speed because you have that TV time. Just run the graphic. Give me the video here. Give me the wrestler telling me the story while he's walking to the ring. All he's got to do, if Danny Garcia can say, hey, I told you I was going to take it a step further. This is a step further. Now what are you going to do? And just let it roll. The little ticker can tell me exactly what happened. Commentary could do it. But you could easily bring your fan base up to speed throughout the show of what's happened on the previous shows to let me know I missed something on Saturday. Do I want to miss something this Saturday? Maybe not.
I can see that. But they have been like, I don't even want to say it, like when they come out to the ring, they have been like announcing like what they did the previous match with some of them, but not. You gotta watch it carefully where they pop up under it.
They need to do it for the show that I'm watching too. One thing that WWE does constantly is they tell you what you missed earlier in the night because maybe you didn't start watching at 8. Maybe you started watching at 8:30. So at some point they're gonna tell you what you missed at 8:10. AEW doesn't do that. Darby Allin jumped out of the crowd onto Mox's crew. And they only mentioned it again directly after it happened. Like, they hadn't even cleaned it up. And they talked about it, and they just kept moving on. That kind of should have been special.
Yeah, it should have been. But it wasn't. It wasn't.
I mean, they never even circled back to Darby getting whipped into the garage door. And that was a moment. And I didn't notice it even being shown on Collision last night. I don't think they showed that clip last
night. They showed them jumping in the back of the truck. I know that.
Yeah, they showed Wheeler getting into. They showed Darby jumping in there and that attack. I don't remember them showing him getting swung and slammed into the door. I don't remember seeing it again. I could be wrong. Someone can tell me live in the comments on Instagram if I'm wrong. I just don't remember seeing that for a second time.
I think you're right. They didn't show it. I know they did show jump in the back of the truck, but I don't think the door was there.
Yeah. I feel like something as small as just doing pop-up recaps could help a lot of fans in AEW. But I think the idea that Dynamite was a D show because of refs not calling the use of the ring from Cheetah, that doesn't make that a D show. Like, AEW does not do a great job of protecting referees and making them not look stupid. But also, neither does WWE. Like, the Seth Rollins Bronson Reed thing from 2 months ago, the ref being out of place there doesn't make any sense. They didn't protect that referee. So the idea that the AEW having their refs being in a bad spot all the time is somehow a deciding factor of why people don't like the product doesn't make any sense, because WWE does it every week also. Except the biggest issue, in my opinion, is that your Dave LaGreca's, your Bully Rays, your Eric Bischoff, and your Vince Russos don't harp on this to their fan base that only has other people's opinions. This is just me. I think a lot of wrestling fans don't have their own opinions. They have the ability to verbalize opinions they're told to have by people who they think are still in the wrestling industry who are not. Eric Bischoff was successful for 83 weeks. He failed on every opposing end of that 83 weeks. He was not a good promoter, because Eric Bischoff was never a pro wrestling promoter. He was an executive producer of a TV show, spending Ted Turner's money that was limitless. And he still failed. Vince Russo went to a place that was somewhat successful for a period of time and further tanked it with WCW. Both of these guys went to TNA Wrestling and did terrible jobs there. Dave LaGreca has also never been in professional wrestling. And Bubba Ray Dudley has never run a company. Not just a wrestling company. He's never been in charge of any company, any people. No one's ever answered to him. So for him to say how someone like Tony Khan should run their corporation doesn't make any sense. Bubba Ray Dudley couldn't run a 7-Eleven. But he's going to tell a billionaire how to spend his money.
He's telling the billionaire how to make a story. You're
trying to tell him how he should run the business. And so many wrestling fans do that. Someone try to argue with me in a comment post. I believe their comment. They're trying to tell me how it is Tony Khan should be doing something. Tony Khan's a billionaire. I think he knows how to run a business. And I don't think he thinks AEW is a business. I think it's just his hobby.
Well,
I don't think he cares if it makes money, but it is making money. It got a bigger TV deal than NXT did.
I think TK just happy he got himself a ring and a invention, and they made money. And
I think his mindset is that he's just booking shows to have fun. I think it's a lot like Jake Paul with his boxing promotions. He wants to fight his favorite fighters and give them a lot of money. Freddie, what's up?
Yeah, I'm mad about that Jake Paul though.
Why are you mad about the Jake Paul fight? Because you didn't win. Because you didn't win a bunch of money. What do you think was going to happen?
Hey, I want $1.75.
So me and my wife, me and your sister, we sat down to watch the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. I said, this is just going to go to a decision. Yeah, Mike wasn't hitting hard. So here's the thing with boxing, and this is one of the things I had said was that we didn't see Mike spar. What we saw Mike do is we saw Mike hitting mitts and some bag work. Here's the thing about hitting mitts. You can make hitting mitts look super impressive with the right partner holding the mitts. They can meet you halfway, makes your hand speed look super fast. If they're hitting you with about 50% of the force that you're hitting them with, you get a really good thwack going. It can look way more impressive than it really is. But with that said, I don't think Mike Tyson was ever trying to knock Jake Paul out. I think Roy Jones Jr. made a lot of good comments about Mike not looking like he has legs under him. He didn't have a lot of spring in his step. He tripped on his way out there. He looked real shuffly. Like he didn't necessarily want to be in there. He wasn't trying to kill anybody. Mike Tyson's 58 years old. He's not 21 anymore. I don't think he wanted to hurt Jake Paul. I think Mike wanted to make $40 million, and he did.
No, Jake got the 40. Mike got 20.
Regardless, 20 mil. Mike wanted to make 20 mil. And I think he wanted to see if he could get in the best possible shape of it as possible at 58 years old and go out there and have some fun. And he did it. And people should be inspired by it. Just like the people who hate Jake Paul. I think people who hate Jake Paul are jealous of Jake Paul. I don't think there's any other answer for people who hate Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul is not talented. In anything he's ever done, he is not talented. But he is successful. He's not a gifted athlete. But he's been successful in his athletic endeavors. Same with Logan.
I give it to him, but still, I could have had a good fortune, but that's okay.
I don't know. I think it's I think the Jake Paul Mike Tyson thing. I think it was just a work. I'm not saying it was fixed. I'm just saying it was a work. It wasn't an official boxing match after 4 rounds. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. It was cool to see Tyson do something again. He seemed like he had fun. Hey, I'm all for it.
But
John Jones, Stipe, that's a different conversation.
I can see this. I want $1 just for John Jones winning.
But I mean, that fight lasted one more round than I thought it would. I thought John was going to stop Stipe in the second. He stopped him in the third. Not a knock on Stipe. Hey, I'm strong style for life. I trained in the original strong style gym before they upgraded, before Marcus started making money.
Speaking of which, speaking about Netflix, you think the same thing's gonna happen for Raw with all the buffering?
Crashing? Yeah. No, not that many people are ever gonna watch Raw. It's just not. Mike Tyson's a draw. People will tune in to watch Mike Tyson put some gloves on. The WWE Monday Night Raw is never going to pull in the immediate response that people want to see something happen live, because what I think people don't necessarily understand, our age demo, Freddie's age demo, Mike Tyson changed the way you watch the sport of boxing. Prior to Mike Tyson in the late 80s, early 90s, you were watching a sporting contest. If you were watching, I think people's opinion of Ali is a little twisted from what it should be, because people remember Ali after his time off, after they wouldn't let him fight because he wouldn't go fight in the Vietnam War. So Ali got a little slower. He got older. So you were watching more of a sporting contest of him absorbing some punishment throughout those rounds, getting people tired and pointing them out. Then you come to Tyson, and whenever Mike Tyson fought, man, you weren't watching a boxing match. You were watching an execution. Mm-hmm. It became very, very different. It wasn't, is Tyson going to win? It was, how fast is Tyson going to knock this dude out? You tuned in. People tuned in. It was an event. People got together to watch Tyson fights. Houses were packed. Who's getting a Tyson fight? 30 people show up at that house. What bar is going to be showing it? Places packed. People are standing outside because you thought you were going to watch a live execution on TV. Mm-hmm. You thought Mike Tyson's eventually going to kill a man in the ring. Nobody's hitting like that. Nobody's moving like that. It was different. So you booked Tyson for anything. Hey, you could sign me to spar Mike Tyson. People are going to tune into Netflix.
Yeah, all right.
You're going to watch Mike Tyson punch anybody. The fact that a lot of people hate Jake Paul made that much, but it just gave you a few 100,000 more people tuning in, thinking, man, maybe the old man can knock him out. It wasn't going to happen. Neither guy was trying to knock the other guy out. But there were moments in that fight where 58-year-old Mike Tyson moved like 22-year-old Mike Tyson. There were moments where Mike was slipping and moving, and in every one of those moments, every 58-year-old dude don't have an excuse no more. Being damn near 60 don't mean you can't get in the gym. Mm-hmm. Mike did it. Yeah. Now, Grant, he's probably on some of the secret sauce.
Okay.
Just my guess. 58 years old. He's probably taking some TRT. He's probably on something anabolic, as he should be.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
I want all my fighters on steroids. But that's just me. All right. I think every combat sports athlete should be on steroids. I think every pro wrestler should be too.
I got nothing to do with this, y'all. Can't clear my name.
Listen, whenever I was fighting, I was very much anti-dudes being on steroids. How many times I got punched in the head by dudes who were on steroids? That shit sucked. I ain't fighting no more. I want all fighters on steroids. They're as big as they could possibly be. Remember what Alistair Overeem looked like whenever he fought Brock Lesnar? Mm-hmm. I want every fighter to look like that. Just looking like an action figure. That's what I want. Every fighter should be built that way. Every pro wrestler should be built that way.
Okay. And every doctor's going to get a good bonus check here soon.
Yeah. Get them all on the sauce. I no longer want a flyweight division. It's 205 and up from there. I don't even want 180. Just 205 is lightweight, and now let's just start working our way up from there. If you're not over 200 pounds, don't sign up. You're not fighting. No grown men weighing 125 pounds. We don't need that in our society. RFK, you're going to take over as health minister. Everyone's going to be jacked and tan. That's it. Welcome to the new America.
I'll go with that. All right, I'll go with that.
If you're under 205, you got to fight the kids division.
Not bad. Okay.
That seems reasonable, right?
It sounds reasonable. You're right.
All right, Joe. do our of the week awards.
Okay. I got
So
it.
let's kick off with your thing. What was your show of the week? What was your 2 hours of the week?
My 2 hours a week. Okay, this is really gonna sound bad, but really, there really wasn't no good 2 hour show this week for me. Nothing really got my attention this week, y'all. So I will have to say this week, every show just seemed like the same thing, the same segment, the same everything. So I cannot say any one of them got my attention. So I would say no show gets it this week from me.
That's a rough week.
Yeah.
I didn't know no show was an option.
I tried my hard thinking about it, but
I gotta be honest, man. I didn't think Dynamite was bad. I also didn't think Collision was bad last night. And I think part of it with Collision is I often go into Collision with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go into Collision expecting like stories to develop or titles change hands. So I thought Collision was decent. I didn't think Raw mattered at all. Like, at all. I thought SmackDown had its good points. Even though I'm not like super thrilled about where this Bloodline story is going, which I mean it's WWE. They could do something next week. I'm totally bought in. So I'm not I'm not totally dug in. I'm like, this isn't making sense. I don't like it. But I will say, man, Bronson Reed looks like a good fit with Bloodline 2.0, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't get to be in Australia for Elimination Chamber, and he didn't have a WrestleMania match. And then Friday night, he tsunami'd Roman Reigns. Like, I have my issues of him being thrown into the War Games and Seth joining Roman's side because of him. Because, to be honest, he's a mid-carder, and Seth Rollins already beat him clean. So it doesn't make any sense for Seth to align with Roman because of this guy. But wow, what a year. Really, truly, what a year for Bronson Reed.
You know what I can say about Bronson Reed, though? I noticed it. If you ever watch him doing the tsunami splash, why doesn't he, when he does it, it's like he accidentally just tripped and fell off the ring?
I just think that his size and his build, I don't think he can't stay on that top rope for long.
I know.
He can't sit there. But I think like that view of him delivering the tsunami, every like good shot you see of it, and I've saved so many on my phone because it's an iconic image. It really is. Mm-hmm. Like I think I'm gonna make a shirt, just a silhouette of him in the air coming out to drop the tsunami because it reminds me of the Jordan logo. You know, like Roman, they did the Superman punch for his logo for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Bronson Reed's logo should be him in the air delivering the tsunami. He's in the same position every time.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I looked at it when he did it again. He did twice on SmackDown. Like, damn, like about to fall, trip. Like,
yeah, he gets that 1 foot up there and he just goes. Mm-hmm. As far as my show of the week, I'm kind of in the same boat you are. Nothing was spectacular. My wrestler of the week, I want to say is Bronson Reed for him getting himself into the main event scene, but Lio Rush and Swerve Strickland together for my match of the week, and Lio Rush is my wrestler of the week.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Mine's kind of different. I went with the Hangman and Christian Cage as That's my good match of the week, because that was pretty good.
Dude, that was a fun match, right? And like the ending of it for me, and like Dave LaGreca said the ending of it ruined it for him. But we started off Dynamite with a 15-minute tag match of guys who are all just like really good performers. Switchblade and Hangman have such great chemistry in the ring together. I don't know. I don't see how people didn't like it. What made it stand out for you?
You got like Christian and Hangman, two people who never tag team, never been in the ring together, but they made it work perfectly fine. They got along, they hit every move, they did everything right, and even at the end of the match, you would thought Hangman would turn against Christian, but he didn't. When they were up there on top of the ramp, he didn't.
I was hoping for that.
I thought he was too. I like he about to hit him, do something, but nothing.
I think that like the Hangman Page thing is my argument where people are like, well, AEW doesn't tell stories. AEW has been telling the Hangman Adam Page story since day one. Since day one. Like the first 2 years of that company were solely the journey of Hangman Page. And it's really stopped. I mean, you didn't have to follow him in Ring of Honor or any of the other stuff he did with Bullet Club prior to the AEW being formed. And like you literally watch the creation of a character and you're seeing his entire story arc unfold in AEW. And we're in his villain arc right now. And it's so interesting because he became a villain for the right reasons.
Swerve took him out.
Yeah. Swerve made him a villain.
And now the good old wrestler of the week. I'll have to go with. I went with Hobbs as the wrestler of the week. Hobbs, the little nice performance he had last night on Collision, it was good. It showed him that he might have been out for 6+ months or so. He was out for
A little while, yeah.
But he came back and he showed that he still had his moves, still was a big man to be a force to be reckoned with.
For sure. There you go, everyone. You got our non-existent show of the week. You got our wrestlers and matches of the week. Who knows? Tomorrow should be interesting with Raw. We know the spoilers, so what they add in that wasn't part of the live event will prove to be pretty interesting. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy what's left of Sunday, and hopefully, let's just hope that this week's programming of pro wrestling is better than the week we just wrapped up. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out.